the same time, multiple departing team members have spoken warmly about their time at Halo Studios and the people they worked with.
What? Who gives a shit about that? Why is your game bad? But anyway, let's talk about Halo.
Halo Studios was hit by Microsoft and Xbox layoffs too, and Dev says nobody, quote, is really happy about the quality of the next game.
Oh my god, dude. If Halo fucking bombs, guys. If Halo fucking bombs this next one, it will be the last Halo ever, which is a bummer because last couple have not been fun, not been good. But also it's gotta be this. I mean, it's supposed to be Microsoft's flagship, dude. This is the one. This is the one, guys. This one needs to succeed. Has to. Must. Yeah.
Great. This, comes after the news from last week where they let Microsoft let go of 9,000 people. A good chunk of people at Microsoft's subsidiary Xbox also lost their jobs as part of this. But this news comes from an Engadget report, as you can see here. Even before the layoffs, there was tension. Quote, "I'm personally super pissed," a developer told Engadget. At least 5 employees at Halo Studios have been fired as part of a company-wide layoffs at Microsoft on Wednesday, according to...
Look, I love the chat over here. We weren't happy with the quality of the other game either. That's funny.
The developer with knowledge of the situation.
We
An estimated 200 to 300 people remain at the studio. Dude, imagine how much it would suck to be like in a team of 300 people and then you're one of the 5 people. Like you're one of 5 people that were just selected out of the ether to be sacrificed at the altar of Satya Nadella. It's crazy. Employees across Microsoft's Xbox division received an email from Phil Spencer Wednesday morning addressing organizational shifts, which just means we're firing a lot of you. Hitting the team over the coming days, Halo Studio employees were laid off, received an additional invite to a meeting with the organization leaders, and 2 very long hours later, the team's call began. Amid discussions, what's funny, it's 2 hours later, the Zoom call or the Teams call began. If it was a Zoom call, it would have been immediate. The Teams call was just so buggy. And
That's very funny, Luke. That's very funny. I have to do a lot of Teams calls in my line of work, and it's always fucking terrible. So, fuck yeah, Luke.
Broken. They couldn't get into the call. Amid discussions of severance packages, the reasons provided for the firings aligned with Spencer's memo to, quote, increase agility and effectiveness. Just corporate jargon for we just need to fire people because we got to free up some money. This is pretty normal. I'm personally super pissed that Phil's email to us bragged about how this was the most profitable year ever for Xbox in the same breath as pulling the lever on the layoffs, the developer told Engadget.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Just keep your eye on this chat over here. It's so funny. Luke, I know places where rich people do some weird rituals in California. Not joking. From give it huge.
I wasn't sure what part of that was supposed to be proud about. I was supposed to be proud about. Yeah, it's the difference between somebody that sits in like the corporate office versus the developers that are getting fired. The corporate office is like, yeah, best year ever. Let's trim the fat more and make it an even better year so we get our bonuses. And then people getting fired obviously are not privy to that. This is why I love The Office. For many reasons, the American Office. But the American Office had some great episodes where like they explored this same mentality where it was like, you would see a manager prompted, hey, if you fire these people, if you cut the budget by this amount, you can get a bonus. They won't get anything, but you'll get a bonus. And so then the manager is incentivized to go and be cutthroat and kind of screw over the employee so that they can benefit more directly from the downsizing. It's a fantastic show for many, many reasons. You should watch it.
Man, living a corporate life and working a corporate job has to be terrible. Like in a cubicle, and as I move furniture with my father and my family and shit for a large part of my life, and we would move these cubicles all the time, and just the whole atmosphere is always we would move like Key Bank shit like that, and it was just the whole atmosphere just felt so suppressive. If that makes any sense, like emotionally suppressive, you know. Even when they let you have a little stuff to flare up your cubicle, you can just tell people are just like walking this weird beat on this weird line, and they're not allowed to veer off of it. and it's just and as a construction worker, I just don't know if I could even exist in that.
If you somehow have not watched it in the last 20 years. So they continue on. They're working on multiple games, of course, including the next mainline Halo installment. And it's the steward of Halo Infinite, which is quietly spinning down its content cadence. It had a content cadence? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, right.
That's news to me. The mood at the studio is tense, especially when it comes to one project that was recently in crisis, according to the developer. Quote, I don't think anybody is really happy about the quality of the product right now.
God,
I mean, it's not great when the team making a product says no one here is happy with it. Give us money, please. Like, I'm sold. I'll tell you what. There's been a lot of tension and pep talks trying to rally folks to ship. The studio recently teased that it would reveal what it's been working on at this year's Halo World Championship in October. Halo Studios was rocked by layoffs in 2023, back when it was still called 343, and that culling mostly affected people on the campaign and narrative teams, including Halo veteran Joe Staten. This is also the reason Halo Infinite hasn't had a continuing storyline since that time period. Today, Halo Studios employs a blend of full-time employees and contractors, with junior producers and quality assurance roles generally contracted out. And this is crucial to understand. The way Microsoft works as a corporation is that they use a lot of contracted work. My dad, as I've told you guys a bajillion times, has worked with Microsoft in varying capacities for decades. But one of the ways he works is through contracted work. So he works at a separate company, and Microsoft hires them to come in and help finish this project that they're working on. It's kind of
first off, this is like main. It's the same thing for just construction, just not even to do with tech, right? But like a contractor will get a bid, the main contractor, main GC will get a bid, right? And then they hire out a bunch of smaller contractors that specialize in this overall bid that they got, right? It's very common practice. Very common.
Like, I told you guys earlier in the stream, I'm having my deck rebuilt. So I went to a company that finished my basement as well, but they also go and they do finishes and finishing work on all sorts of different projects. So they will hire the team that goes, they supervise it, and they contract out the work as a general contractor through.
Imagine being a contractor. Good grief. Amen, brother. Amen.
Subcontractors. Very normal for like construction and things, but it's also how Microsoft works, is that they'll hire these outside teams and groups of people to do QA, to do the animation work, to do this or to do that. It's a very common thing. However, it can lead to problems because
I'm loving Luke's chat right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. Luke casually whipping his deck out.
Game development doesn't tend to work the same as like working on Windows security updates or working on Windows 11 software that doesn't work. It's just not the same thing, but they're trying to treat it the same, and that's probably why they're running into some trouble. 343 Industries came under fire from fans for the launch state of Halo Infinite. Over the years, several ex-employees have spoken out about the studio's reliance on contractors who typically work on the company with the company for a maximum of 18 months. And the thing is, after 18 months, they may be offered a full-time job, or they may not be, and they may just be cast aside. The benefit for the corporation in doing it this way is that they don't have to pay benefits. They may pay more upfront initially, for the person, compared to like a salaried position, but they don't have to pay benefits. They don't have to deal with problems with like unions. Gross. Can you imagine? They don't have to deal with any of that troublesome stuff that, of course, Papa Microsoft doesn't want to deal with. So they just use contractors. And again, another problem with this is that you work on a project that takes 5 years to finish, but if a lot of people working on it only are working on it for 12 to 18 months, there's very little consistency. I mean, you have people that come into the project halfway through and don't know anything.
True.
Like they don't know where they started or what happened.
Again, sorry for the same construction correlation, but that's the same issue that you run into long-term projects. You know what I mean? That each contractor does something a little differently. So if you only, and as the bid moves, things can happen. But also, I think what he hasn't mentioned is that it helps the company, the main GC, or in this case, Microsoft, the liability for fault, right? It's easier. So if you have a bunch of employees that are fucking up, it's harder to deal with them than it is to deal with a contractor fucking up. Right? Because then you can literally sue the contractor for their mistakes versus handling your own employees and having to deal with that. So
they don't know. And again, to be very clear with the union point, because some people I'm not sure can read sarcasm, they don't like unions. They don't. I think unionizing is a great way to collectively bargain and negotiate contracts, quite demonstrably so. Microsoft does not like unions. they give that 2 thumbs down. They try very hard to avoid allowing unions, which is why they like contractors. It's the whole thing. The employee I spoke with said that since 2023, there's been a general shift towards working with contracted studios rather than individual contractors in the United States and Europe to speed up Halo production. This mirrors the way other major FPS franchises like Call of Duty and Battlefield are developed, which is true. If you remember Virtuos, these guys have worked on like everything, not just the Oblivion remake, but they've worked on like Dune Awakening, Dark Souls Remastered. They worked on Judas, Outriders. They did art production.
What is Judas? I've never heard of that game. What are you, Judas?
Work for Stellar Blade and League of Legends. Like, this is the stuff they've worked on.
Wow, man. They worked on everything.
No doubt. You've heard of some of this. Like, look at all the companies they've worked with. All of these companies. Naughty Dog, Konami, Avalanche, Take-Two, Ubisoft, Disney, Daybreak, Crystal Dynamics, Capcom, Bethesda, Arcane, Amazon, Quantic Dream. Like, they work with all these teams. They have thousands of developers. Thousands. But they're primarily a support studio. They do contracted stuff. So this is one of those companies. They have over 4,200 people and they have 900 clients and they've worked on over 1,500 titles. But you probably don't know them off the top of your head until the Oblivion stuff. But it's because they are the company that a company like Microsoft will hire to help them with stuff, so they don't have to, have them employed and like deal with bigger teams and that type of thing. Let's see. Xbox quote, Xbox in general feels years behind the curve in game development, and it leads to a lot of wasted time and effort, the employee said. At the same time, multiple departing team members have spoken warmly about their time at Halo Studios and the people they worked with.
What? Who gives a shit about that? Why is your game bad? God damn it. Who gives a fuck if you had a good time making a piece of shit? If at the end you got a piece of shit. So the first half of this damn article, you guys are telling me that it's shit. And the other half, you're like, well, I had a good time, though. Well, that's not very fucking cool. So, jeez, man.
Conflicted statements at the very least. Let's see. Layoffs at Microsoft on July 2nd affected 9,000 employees globally, including 830 in Washington, where Halo Studios is based. The Xbox division endured significant firings, game cancellations, and studio closures. Microsoft spokesperson said that the Xbox team did not absorb the majority of the layoffs, but given its relatively small size in the organization, that framing may not accurately reflect the impact, which is another important point. It's relative to the rest of Microsoft or Xbox is not that massive of a priority for them. But, that's why 500 people laid off at Xbox still feels massive compared to like 500 in the broader scheme of Microsoft. It's like a drop in the bucket. They have, I think, 220,000 employees globally. It's crazy. And they go on more. They're doing all this. Yeah, they're damnedest to replace as many jobs as they can with AI agents. This is, again, one of the other things. Satya is a firm believer that Copilot is going to streamline the whole company. So he's like, if we can trim fat, if we can find ways to lay people off and replace them with AI agents, awesome. Please do it. As you can see here, it's unclear how much AI has to do with the latest round of layoffs, but use of Copilot is quote unquote no longer optional. As you can see, Microsoft pushes staff to use internal AI tools more and consider this in reviews. So when you go and have your performance review, part of your performance review is how much you are using their AI tools in your workflow.
Of course. Right? Of course. I mean, if you're heavily relying on this tool, this thing to do your job for you, like, why wouldn't they take that in consideration? Like, why wouldn't they do that? They're like, hey man, 80% of your work was done by our Copilot. Why are we paying you 100% for 20%?
Considering formal metrics. They're also considering using the AI tools to do the employee reviews because it's unemotional. It just looks at the data and the stats.
Oh man. I hope you guys know that in the future, Joe Rogan, I'm taking this from Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan said, and I agree with, that eventually the police officers are going to be AI. You're going to be arguing with a computer in the back of a cop car. They're going to get a robot to come out, put you out unemotionally. Hey, you broke the law. This is the law. And there's not going to be no reasoning. There's not going to be empathy. There's not going to give a damn, dude. It's just going to be you versus computer. Cyberpunk 2077 type shit.
Does it
That's our
sound
future.
dystopian yet? Copilot isn't even that good. Everyone knows. I agree. Everyone agrees, except for Microsoft. Like, no, I don't know a single person who's like, yep, let me check with Copilot real quick. They will rather open a separate tab
I'm sorry, dude. I really love this chat right now. If I identify as an AI, will I get a job quicker? Probably, bro.
and then go check like ChatGPT or something over Copilot. It's just not very good. It's just not very good. CEO Satya Nadella said that as much as 30% of the company's code is now written by AI on some projects. Activision in February admitted to using AI in Black Ops 6. It's unclear how much AI has to do with the latest round of layoffs, but use of Copilot is no longer optional. Yeah, so they closed Arcane Austin, Alpha Dog Games, Tango Gameworks, which was later acquired by Krafton. Microsoft reported a net revenue of $25.8 billion for the first 3 months of 2025, with an 8% yearly increase in revenue from Xbox content and services. It's just, I mean, this is the way that they do it. And a lot of people go like, Microsoft's worth $3 trillion. How could they do this? It's like, bro, they're worth $3 trillion because they do this. The day they stopped laying off thousands of people casually on a Friday afternoon is the day that they stopped being worth $3.74 trillion.
True.
Like, this is just how it works. This is what
They're not a charity.
they're doing. Doesn't mean we have to like it. We can be upset about it, absolutely. But they are this massive because they are the cutthroat of the cutthroats. They are the corporate sharks of the corporate sharks. You know, they should do it again then. Oh, they will. They are not stopping, to be very, very clear. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. I think that the over-reliance on contracted labor is going to just continue to bite them in the butt. I don't think that that's a great way to build high-quality games if you are sacrificing the core dev team in the process. Obviously, a lot of amazing studios use contracted work. We just saw an example of a team that works with many of them. But if you are laying off huge chunks, like literally decimating the core dev team, and you're like, we'll just fill it in with contracted work, I don't think that's a great way to build games. I don't think that's a great way to create a safe environment for developers to come and pour their hearts and souls into projects. I think that's a great way to harbor resentment and to get people to leave and go find places where they are valued and appreciated, you know? So we'll see. We'll see how it continues to develop. We won't see the ramifications of all of this until, like, you know, until probably 2027, 2028. It's going to take a few years, but yeah, fire everyone. Infinite money. Yeah, problem solved. Guys, I figured it out. But going back to this, just to tie this in, Jake, when you cut the clip, the specific project, we don't know if that's talking about the next mainline Halo game or if he's talking about it like a separate spin-off project that's also in the works. But either way, for a company like, you know, Halo Studios to say that everybody there working on X product is not happy with it, that's not good. Even if it's a spin-off project, that's bad. So maybe he's talking about the next mainline Halo game, maybe, or maybe he's talking about a separate project. We just don't know. But either way, you'd hope that they'd just be happy with it and excited by it. But I guess time will tell. Time will tell.
What was that? Better quit that. Oh, right. So that was a good video, man. Yeah, we're gonna subscribe. Sorry, Luke. I was surprised to subscribe to Extra Life. I thought that was you. I'm gonna share this. Go watch that video, guys. Like that video. That's pretty good, man. I didn't know.